The 2022 San Francisco 49ers finished their season with a 13-4 record, and they made it all the way to the NFC Championship game. Unfortunately, they lost to the Jalen Hurts-led Eagles while they were playing the fourth QB on their depth chart. But their season performance should give 49ers fans every bit of reason to be even more excited moving into 2023. Trey Lance got injured in week 2, so we never got to see how he played in his first full year, and Jimmy Garoppolo took over. Jimmy G led the 49ers to a 7-3 record until he suffered his own season-ending injury in week 13. The next guy up, Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy himself. And in his first ever NFL career start, he threw for 2 touchdowns as he dominated Tom Brady and the Buccaneers 35-7. What a dominant start to your career. He followed it up with 4 more wins to help the 49ers lock up the number 2 seed in the NFC. He led the 49ers squad past both the Seahawks and the Cowboys and almost through the NFC Championship game, and possibly could have helped the 49ers stay in it better had he not suffered his own elbow injury that would sideline him for the rest of the game. Although the 49ers season did end again in the NFC Championship game how it did 2 years prior, there's almost no doubt that the Niners will dominate again in 2023 and make the postseason. Watching 3, but really only 2, different quarterbacks succeed in San Francisco's offense is a testament to how good Kyle Shanahan is as a coach. Kyle Shanahan runs an aggressive offense that is run heavy and gets everyone involved in a different way every single play. While much of the emphasis is in the passing game, that allows for the defense to give up something in the passing game. The QBs are able to respond to what the defense gives them. But that doesn't mean the 49ers run a conservative style offense only. They have some big-name players to go out and make big-time plays. That could mean for the team to block well enough for Deebo Samuel to get a big yardage play, or to let Christian McCaffrey get hot in the receiving game. Either way, the weapons are very present. And the point is, Kyle Shanahan's offense is built to work around almost any quarterback, so long as they make the right throws and don't put the ball in harm's way. Trey Lance has been lighting it up so far in training camp, but it's still not certain who the 49ers will start at QB. Part of us wants to think it will be Purdy, and then another part thinks Lance. Lance was drafted very highly, and it would make sense for San Fran to try and see what sort of value they have in him, especially if they go ahead and decide to trade the pick. Either way, with both QBs on the roster, the offense should be ready to pick up where it left off, and let's pray that they both stay healthy. The 49ers traded for Christian McCaffrey in the middle of the season last year, and so far, they're getting everything out of him that they could have liked. Before his trade from Carolina, McCaffrey put up 393 rushing yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, and a receiving touchdown. After he became a 49er, his usefulness went up exponentially, including the playoffs. McCaffrey went for 984 yards rushing, 8 rushing touchdowns, and 6 touchdowns. And sure, he was with the 49ers longer than the Panthers, but his productivity skyrocketed. McCaffrey is getting a full year in the 49ers offense, and we could see some of the best numbers of his career, so long as he stays healthy. And the Niners also have Kyle Juszczyk, and him paired with McCaffrey in a lot of different schemes should scare opposing defenses. You should still expect for his main role to come out in jumbo packages at the goal line, but with CMC, his roles might adapt a little bit. The 49ers receiver corps is still amazing, and it's headlined by Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, and Juwan Jennings. Deebo Samuel has only continued to get better every year he's been in the league. And this year, he's got even more of a reason to intimidate opposing secondaries. George Kittle is one of the best tight ends in the league, and while he's just shy of being at Travis Kelce's level, where he's at is nothing to frown on. He had 60 grabs last year on 86 targets and for 929 yards. And the craziest part about this is that he had 11 touchdowns. That means on 18%, almost 1 out of every 5 balls he caught, he took it in for a TD. And yeah, that's just 1 year, but that's exactly what you want to see out of your top-tier tight end. Consistent productivity and make it to the end zone on as many catches as possible. And Kittle averaged 12.8 yards per catch, which makes him great for a target on 3rd and longs or 4th down tries. The point is, don't rule out Kittle because he's just that good. The offensive line is still among one of the best units possible, and Trent Williams is ready to make opposing defensive linemen's fear strike every game day. That's not much to talk about on this group because of how consistent the group is. Kudos to the front office for investing heavily into the offensive line because it's paid off. Easily, at least half of the teams, if not more, wish they had an offensive line that good. We've spent all this time talking about the offense, and we didn't even get to address the other half of the team's success. San Francisco's defense is among one of the best in the league, and the unit got that much better with the signing of former Eagles defensive lineman Javon Hargrave. Hargrave was an absolute monster for the Eagles last year, and he's showing no signs of slowing down. Hargrave had 11 sacks last year and was one of the 4 Eagles defensive players to amass double-digit sacks. Hassan Reddick had 16, and then Hargrave, Brandon Graham, and Josh Sweat each had 11. Now, Hargrave joins a defensive front with Nick Bosa and Arik Armstead. With Bosa coming back healthy, Hargrave is in the perfect company to have a pass rush duo that could easily get over 20 sacks, if not 25. Javon Hargrave isn't the end-all be-all and is the sole piece that helps the Niners get over their NFC Championship game slump, but it does help. The linebacker unit is still one of the most complete groups. Fred Warner led the Niners with 130 tackles and 2 sacks in 2022. Dre Greenlaw is a good linebacker and is in his prime now as he has 127 tackles last year. The secondary unit has a lot to be optimistic about, despite losing Jimmy Ward to the Texans in free agency. The 49ers are coming back to a fully healthy team with one of the best offensive-minded coaches in all of the NFL with a plethora of weapons on offense and defense. Getting to see whichever QB plays out in Kyle Shanahan's system will be a treat to watch. Expect to see explosive years from McCaffrey, Debo, and Kittle. And try and get at least one of these guys in your fantasy lineup because it's going to help you out a lot. The 49ers team is way scarier now than it was last year. And last year, it was a big threat to go against. So that's all for this one here on Endzone Football. Be sure to like and subscribe to support us, as it only takes you a second to do so, and it helps us grow the channel immensely. We'll see you next time, and while you're at it, be sure to check out the video up on your screen.